putting my first outwale on the one side, the inwale, the outwale, clamps the bark together. So the center's here, pre-marked. Just gotta move it a bit this way. You want it to be in the center so that at both ends you have enough coming out of both ends. Okay, that's pretty good. Now the idea is I'll simply get it the same height and clamp it in place. I've had my outwale in the water for a few days, so it'll help me. And then this canoe, I gotta put a reinforcing strip of bark. So at this under here. Putting in my other bark strip, which side's straighter. As you can see, I'm trying to steam bend my outwales. So I'm just removing a bit of bark so I can see where my inwale is, so I can bring it up to where bring it up to the proper position. being careful to cut the bark and not my actual wood. It's not too shabby. It's really hard to get that nice angle because you're working with hot boiling wood. You gotta curve it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm kind of gonna show you here. So you see my stem piece? It's in there. My lighting's not very good. The stem piece is in here. So I'm clamping my bark with the clamps, clamping it, and then I gotta shave down the bark close to the stem piece. So I got about an inch extra right now. So I'm gonna slowly trim that down. I remove it kind of rough just to give me an idea where I'm going. Leave about an inch or two extra because your bark, as it comes in here, when you're starting to build, you always need about 6 inches or a foot longer than your canoe so that you have extra room for shaving that bark off. So I learned this through some comments on YouTube, some comments you guys left me. So bark is always easier to cut at an angle compared to 90 degree. So I didn't actually know that, and then I tried it and it's true. But you got to be really careful because sometimes if you're going at an angle, it's almost too effective. The knife just bites in and then just wants to go. And then also, it's easier to cut and softer if it has some hot water. So you can put a bit of hot water to kind of help cut it. But with the hot water, you don't want to overdo it, because the hot water makes, once it dries, and then it makes it curl. So you don't want to use too much of that. This is just some precision cutting, so you can't rush this. Gotta go. That's looking pretty good, actually. Move a little bit more to get it closer to the, little closer to the stem piece. And then the next step after that will be the lashing. I usually start at the bottom to get the gap at the bottom closed really tight. And then I'll move upwards and then finish up here with, this will have some decorative lashing. Decorative? Des coutures décoratives. Decorative lashing. Okay, so last time, I filmed, I missed a few steps, so I'm just going to go quickly over some of the steps that I might have not filmed. So basically I had it on the blocks with the heights, the proper height. So I had in the middle a 9-inch block, 10-inch block, and then an 11-inch block. But then I realized that the front here, I needed a 12-inch block because how my inwale was coming in with my stem piece, I needed it to come a little bit higher. So this comes in a little higher. So what I did is I put in the stem piece, so they call it the bonhomme, so the little guy here, with my stem piece. I did an actual video on like a 40-minute video or something on the stem piece, so I'm not going to go over that. So I put the stem piece in and I realized where this went, so I did my notches. So you can see here there's a notch here, I did a notch there, and I did a notch here, and then I put it in to fit, and then I lashed it. So you seen me film the lashing. So you drill a hole here, there's a lashing there, and then what's cool, well, I can't really show it on this side, but I'll go show you on the other side. So the other side's not closed yet, so it holds in really, there you go. Okay, is the camera gonna pick up? Yeah, so the camera's picking up. So I got the lashing here, and it comes, and then I lash, so it's very solid, because the Algonquin old model, there's a lashing here that lashes. So this is the inwale, so it just comes straight through here, comes straight through, so it's very solid. It holds here, and then there's a lashing here, so it holds there, and then there's another lashing kind of here. Don't know if you could see it. So it's very, very solid. So it's in place, like the whole frame's in place, and the bark envelope is basically around it, but nothing is holding it yet to the bark envelope. And then, so what I did after, so I had it on the blocks with the proper height, so I started securing my bark envelope to my my inwale frame, so my gunwale frame that I pre-did. So there was a video actually on how I did this too, on my channel. And then so I started with, this is the outwale, so there's one on each side. So you put that in, and then you use pegs at pre-established intervals that I have on my gunwale frame. So you gotta peg it all in place. So I find the middle, put it in the middle, and then peg it, and then so on and so forth as I go towards the extremities of the canoe. And then once these pegs are in place, I use the clamps to help me tighten it. But back in the day, they either had some wooden clothespin clamps, or they just used the pegs and had somebody else kind of hold it in place while it was being pegged. Or you can actually, so you can use, these would have been stakes in the ground, and then you tie them one side to the other, and then you pull them together to get it to squeeze together. But anyway, so I use clamps, and then once I go through everywhere, so this thwart, see all the pegs, they come here, pegs, you peg it, peg it, peg it. So you keep pegging till you're almost at the end thwart, and then I did what you saw me do now. So I brought the ends forward, brought the ends of the outwales upwards, so they pass where the notch of the bonum is, the little guy, pass in the notch, and then they go up more steeply up there. What else did I want to say? Yeah. As you can see, this is split in four. So I split it to make it easier to bend, to give it that curvature. And then this will be lashed together with spruce roots, so it'll be very solid anyways. That's where I'm at. Oh, also what I did, and I got to do it on this side, is I need extra bark to come up, because you see my my stem piece is coming up over the bark, so I need to add a panel on each side. I'll show you here what I did. So I added a big panel, and then I used this type of stitching, same kind of thing as I used on the sides of the canoe. And another particular thing with this model is it has a strip of bark here that just goes a little bit under the gunwale just to reinforce it. So I put that in, so that's why you can see here there's 2 sheets of bark, because of the extra strip of bark that I put all along. So it just makes everything more solid. If you guys ever know kind of what these are for, it takes a bit more time, because the other canoes I didn't put the extra strip of bark. I don't think you really need it, but Yep, so now I gotta do a stitch here to secure this bark panel, and I gotta start trimming down. Also, I gotta trim down the extra bark that I got here, same as at the other end, but I'm not yet to the point where I can get it right close. I'm just gonna remove kind of this first. Alright, another thing I can work on, so I got a couple things actually. So now that my pegs are all in, and then I had put a little bit of glue, so I can go ahead and saw the extremities flush to the pegs, and then I got to come around with a knife and then just make sure they're trimmed down nice and smooth, because my gunwale lashings will come right over here, over the pegs. So in the end, you won't actually see any of the pegs. But anyways, so another thing that I got to do is get rid of all this excess bark that's coming on top of my gunwales, because later on for my lashings I need to go over this. So it's just a time consuming thing, very simple. Just come with my knife and then just slowly cut that off. Get it off flush. So lots of little steps kind of need to get done all kind of simultaneously. So I'm kind of working on the gunwales, the gunwales, and then I'll need to, once that's done, get the bark off, get the pegs off, I can start doing the lashings. And then I'm securing, as you guys just saw, I am securing the stem pieces a little bit better, and curving the wood to come up. And then I'll need to do lashings on those as well. And everything, as always, is always kind of double. So there's two ends. You make the two ends of the canoe, and then this bark I gotta remove. I gotta do it. Same thing on the other side. So they're simple steps, but they take quite a bit of time. When I'm trying to cut this off, I kind of see that it's way harder to cut than if I had one strip of bark, just because of the extra bark strip that I added for extra strength. So there's actually two layers of bark that I'm removing. So some builders, they cut where the lashing will go, but instead of cutting the other bit, so what they do is they just fold it down, and then it goes folded down. I just cut it. It's strong enough to hold even when it's cut, but depends on the preference of the builders. Got to put in another strip of bark there. I'm going to shave it down on the edge. And then what I'm going to try to do, I got it secure with the try to just slide it underneath so I don't have to, I gotta remove a bit of tension. Sweet. It goes in, and I'm gonna put another one here, and then that'll be the last one. I'm just gonna shave it down a bit more. Takes time to figure out how everything will go. This here, I might just kind of come in later and then trim it. Okay, I can put pegs here, 2 pegs here. I just prepare a bunch of pegs in advance. So these are white birch pegs, and the wood that I'm using for the gunwales is spruce. Usually cedar, eastern cedar is used, but spruce is used as well and works good. So I'm just using spruce. And when you have all your pegs, you just put a bit of glue, throw them in. Square peg in a round hole. Bought me a nice little saw for cutting the pegs off. Try this out in Stanley Fat Max. The big saw doesn't work very well. Last canoe I used the little saw by Leatherman, but the teeth, the blade, like the teeth on the blade were not fine enough, so it doesn't work very well, so I think this one will work good. Hell yeah, now we're talking. This thing's sweet. So I'm gonna cut my pegs that are sticking out. I got all the other side to do. And then I got roots that are wet. So I gotta use them to do the, to lash my stempiece bark panel. So I gotta lash that. Do that.